Joy Reid's new Primetime MSNBC show launched last night. She had a number of high-profile guests, including Vice President Joe Biden and also one Hillary Clinton. Let's take a listen.
It's very clear that Russia succeeded. They believe that they were able to influence the minds and even the votes of Americans. So why would they stop? They really want to pursue their agenda of dividing us, undermining trust within our country, helping to elect someone who is favorable to their agenda.
She never stops.
It's 3.5 years. Never ends.
It's been 3.5 years and she still can't let it go. It's unbelievable. And it's just the fear mongering that she's doing. And again, this is core to, I think, the MSNBC ideology. I don't know which way it goes. Maybe you can tell me. Which is it Hillary who sets the party line and is like, it's Russia's fault, and then everybody just picks up on that and then brainwashes the Democratic base of that? Or is it vice versa? Like she's watched too much MSNBC and she's internalized it. Like
it's
I can't tell.
Chicken and egg problem at this point.
It's like a transitive property of brainwashing.
Has she been watching too much Rachel Maddow, or has Rachel Maddow been watching too much Hillary? Well, it serves all their interests because they don't have to then think about any failures of their own approach or ideology or why people may have of their own volition without Vladimir Putin mind controlling them. Pushed the button and ultimately not elected, Queen Hillary Clinton here. And there's another piece of this that I think is very damaging, which is that, first of all, Hillary should not get asked about Russia anymore after what she did to Tulsi Gabbard, and floating this idea that they were going to use Tulsi as some useful idiot to throw the election. Remember, she had this whole conspiracy theory.
Outrageous.
Tulsi Gabbard, an American veteran, patriot, was supposedly being controlled by Russia, and she was going to run third party to throw the election to Donald Trump again.
Yeah, and where's Tulsi now?
So, she's not running third party.
Endorsed Joe
Biden. Okay, so no one who bought into that theory should ever get asked about Russia again, number one. Number two, people at MSNBC and in the sort of resistance left, and I would say rightfully so, get very upset when Donald Trump starts calling into question whether he's going to accept the results of the election, right? This just happened in the Chris Wallace interview on Sunday. Chris, rightfully so, pressed him on, okay, if you lose, what are you going to do? And Trump wouldn't say, just like he wouldn't say last time around that he would ultimately concede the election. This is just as damaging. Hillary Clinton in this clip, she says, it's very clear that Russia succeeded. They believe they were able to influence the minds and even votes of Americans, so why would they stop? Yeah. That's exactly the same thing. That is a really outlandish charge. And look, there's no doubt, and this is part of what's frustrating about this story. They take a kernel of truth. Russia did try to interfere. They had their whole Facebook scheme. Yeah. They put up these stupid Bernie bro memes and bad English and whatever. And I'm not saying that it didn't have any impact. I'm sure it did, but we had our own divisions, right? They didn't create those divisions. We had our own problems. We had our own divides in this country that, played out all on their own without Russia having to do anything. So I think these kind of comments are incredibly damaging to our democracy. I think they're incredibly unhelpful if you want Democrats to win on Election Day because, again, the American people evaluated all of this and were like, we're not with you on this one. So I don't know why, just from a strategic perspective, I don't know why they keep going back to the well on this thing.
Yeah, maybe it's ratings. I think it is. And I think that she's just completely incapable of internalizing any criticism, of accepting any responsibility, of just taking any ounce of responsibility for her terrible campaign in 2016. There's been no reflection whatsoever. And this is the logical conclusion of having a scapegoat like James Comey or Russia, and just hammering it home every single day. And like you said, it's incredibly damaging to democracy, which is that if Trump legitimately won the election, then you should also be able to legitimately beat him, right? But in this particular case, they're setting up a narrative where it's this grand conspiracy and it undermines faith probably in elections for all time. And it's completely mainstream in the Democratic Party,
so what are you
amongst MSNBC. And what are they going to do?
What are you going to do if China intervenes on Joe Biden's behalf?
Right, exactly. They're not going to do anything.
Or if they do a little bit and, and it's not really relevant, which is probably what, could potentially happen. And Trump comes down after Election Day and says, this was all flawed because China interfered. I don't accept the results. you've laid the groundwork for that to happen. And there seems to be no awareness of the way that these things can go both ways ultimately and undermine democracy in a really troubling way. But yeah, it's there's a huge appetite for it. And it's not only she doesn't accept like that she didn't run a good campaign, because it goes deeper than that, because really Bill Clinton and the Clinton family built the Democratic Party and the neoliberal agenda as it exists that created the opportunity for Donald Trump to rise to power. And she's not going to be reckoning with that anytime soon.
Well, it's good to see you again, Hillary. Thanks.
All right, more for you after this.